Hey guys, I hope we all are live. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. Um, Great fun that was. I had to update Chrome because suddenly it wouldn't allow me to stream, which was a bummer. But now I am okay. Hello, Donna, sorry. Hello, Pam. I need to get a little bit set up here because I had to shut everything down. Um, I will be right more focused. I'm also going to be making homemade pierogies for my friends tonight that they're going to come and pick up. And so I was like cooking some onions and I realized it's like, you know what? You cannot do two things at once. Well, Catherine, basically, I will burn the onions or do a bad job on the stream. And I definitely don't want to do either of those things. What are you guys up to today? Hello, Laura. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you guys are all doing well. Just getting up the live stream here. Get everything ready because God knows. For the most part, Facebook Live is really easy to do. Um, it's really easy to use, which is awesome. But you have to have everything sort of like up to date, basically. So, hello, Shaylina. Hi, Hannah. Laura, you're blogging today? What are you blogging about? And it's like eating a Klondike. I like that. Hello, Kat. Hey, Crystal. Dawn is like listening to you. Claude says bonjour. Oh, I wish I could speak French, and I wish I could know tout le monde. I know that's totally mangling it. Hi, Rachel. Yeah, so I'm gonna. Hello, Sophie. So after this, I am going to cook for people. I love cooking for people. As you guys, anyone who's watched the blog will know that I used to, in the past, every single week, cook for the Raythe team who are local. And I just, it's such a calming thing for me. Most people are like, oh my God, cooking for people, that's stressful. No, not for me. Um, so I've missed it a lot during quarantine. And I am therefore making homemade pierogies, which I'm going to put in a container and send to my friends who are going to pick it up. So they can cook it and I can cook mine tonight and then we can Zoom and pretend like we're eating together. So Pam says, I was reading the Vampires Club book 7 during the day, now listening to you and going to bed afterwards. Oh, yay. I hope you're enjoying it, Pam. I'm so nervous. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've put out, I don't even know how many books, let alone how many serials. And you would think, since I normally literally write the chapter and put it up without a lot of self-reflection, so man, if it sucks, it's out there, you would think that putting out a final book wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it is each and every time. In all honesty, I think I get more nervous about books because books have this, I don't know, like you're supposed to make sure you tie up all the loose ends, and it should make you can't change someone's names midway through. You don't have members who are telling you, oh, by the way, or if people do tell you, it's like the book's already up there. It's like, damn it. Kat Tina Goretz says, hey, and I say, hey back. Shaylin is having problems with her earpieces there. Aw, I'm sorry about that. Claus says, I'm happy to get Vampire 7 too, but I can't find anywhere volume 6, though I have volumes 4 and 5. Oh, that's the worst. Now, I am not saying you guys should do this because this is actually what we're not supposed to do, but sometimes if you email tech support, sometimes you might get a book. Maybe if you remember during that time frame, but please do not ask for all the books if you really can't. Because A, it's in KU, although giving it away free does not violate the terms of service. But You know what I mean? Giving people back copies, but still. It's just there's too many people who would be asking for that, and literally that's all Jeremy's time, and my time would be spent with doing. So Sarah says, I'm also only getting sound in my left headphone, and I've tried 2 different pairs. I sincerely hope it has nothing to do with me. I don't think so. I don't think so. Or maybe it's Laura. Laura says, I thought it was just me. Jesus, is it us? I don't think so. I hope not. Yeeks. Although I don't know how I could do that, so it looks like everything's okay. Hello, Ryan. So we're going to get started at 2:10 again today, although I was a little late. Sorry about that. Claude says, of course, but can I buy it on Amazon and Kindle? Yes, of course you can. But you do not have to have bought it. If you were a member during the time it came out, we can get you another copy. Just email Jeremy at tech support and CC me at Raythe. Oh, Laura, don't tell me that. Facebook, don't make me sad. Because there's no way I can change any system. Cat, my beloved cat, can you tell me if there's anything I should be doing that I'm not doing? Maybe that I'm doing wrong. Is everybody having this issue? I have no idea. I'm tweaking things. Cat says yes, there's only one channel. So it's not me, Cat. Meaning I can't. Oh. I hope it's not me. So Claus says, oh yes, I've been there for a long time. Laugh out loud, I'll do that. Yeah, I don't want members to be purchasing books if we don't have to. But what I have had someone do is come back and tell me, oh, I can't find the entirety of the Merman 1 through 5. And I'm like, my friend, I am sorry about this, but anyway. Cat is looking. Is there a mixed mono or combined channels option in FB Live? No. I mean, no. Pam says it sounds good. Sophie says it does sound like a voice coming to the left of the computer. That is really fucking weird. Excuse my language. Donna says it's good on her end. Crystal says she's only got sound on the left. My only fear is that literally with like the sound is honestly I cannot adjust anything on this. Once the live stream is going, they do not let you change anything. So I'd literally have to end this live stream and then do it again, which would cause so much consternation because people would be going to the wrong one. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I hope it's not huh. Laura, that is awesome. She says, I still purchase them to have them across all my devices and support. I get the audiobooks, the Kindle, and the free. You are amazing. You are amazing. Kat says it's not a problem exactly. You're using one channel, so it often just uses one channel. But why is it happening now? It forced me to update Chrome in order to use the camera, quote unquote. So that was why I was late. So something's happened. Kat says, I just got the message you were on and I gone to bed. Gosh, now I have to go back. Can't miss this. Oh, sweet. Okay, Sophie says the sound isn't a problem for me. I am really aggravated by this, but I'm trying to see if the stream settings, let's see if it allows me to do something. No, the settings are not. It's really weird. Okay. All right. So Crystal says it still sounds fine. Okay. Kat says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, that's it. Something has changed." Yes, that's probably it. So, guys, I apologize. I hope you can hear me all right. I know that's really annoying when it's coming out of one headphone. Laura says, "Yeah, as long as I can listen, I am okay. I'm excited for the story, to be honest." Yeah, I fear if I literally ended the live stream and started again, it would just cause more chaos, and I don't know if it would fix it because they had me update stuff, and anyway, anyway, all right. Well, I'm just gonna go with this. I know it's a we will hopefully get it sorted next time. I don't know. Maybe Kat and I will poke around and well, Kat will poke around because I'm like totally not capable of tech stuff with this. Forgive me, that is me drinking my Diet Coke. Okay, to get people up to date, just so you all know what we're doing. Thank you, Carolyn. She says you're loud and clear. We are doing we're going to live read chapters 7 and 8 of Empire of Stars. Empire of Stars is a gay romance sci-fi serial. Yes, Sophie says, by the way, I noticed I don't need to log in to read Empire of Stars. Is free for non-members. I'm asking to know when I advertise it to friends. It is. I am keeping Empire of Stars open for everyone to read. Obviously, only members can comment. And the reason I'm doing that is because of the pandemic. Yes, it's free for the pandemic. So I want people to be able to have something fun to go to because I know a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people just don't have any cash. And it's a small, tiny thing to give back. It's a lot of fun. What I have been honestly honored by is how many people have, even though Empire of Stars is free, they sign up as a thank you, which is like really amazing. I'm like, oh my God, okay. I was really shocked by that. And Kat's like, no, that's not shocking. That's what people do. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, so it's free for the pandemic. So tell your friends, tell anyone that if they, just want to read along with something, or really want to get more of a sense of what Raythe Rain is like, honestly, go, seeing Empire of Stars and reading along and stuff like that, they'll get a very good idea. Okay, so I am just to let you guys know, for those who haven't been here before, although I know most of you have, I will be reading 2 chapters today of Empire of Stars. You can read along with me on the website. You can also go back and listen to free ones, and you can also read ahead because we're up to chapter 10. And a lot's happening in these chapters, a lot of fun things. I will take breaks in between. I try to break up the chapter into 2 to 3 parts so that I give my voice a break and read your questions, more importantly. So I, definitely keep asking questions. Kat's helping me look to make sure I don't miss anything. And also that I will go during those time frames when I am not reading the story, and I will answer this question. So Sophie says, oh, that's very nice of you. I'll definitely try to get friends into it. Excellent. I know you have in the past. And Marina says, I have been spreading this like glitter. I love it. All right. So let us get back to our alien commander and our human hero. Chapter 7, Alien Blue. Jace felt like he was in dark water, but whenever he came to the surface, towards the light, blinding pain would fill him, and he would dive down again to the safety of the dark. In those moments he started to surface, he would hear voices. They were indistinct and blurry at first, but then the voices would sharpen, and he would be able to identify the speakers and what they were saying. The first time he surfaced, he heard his mother and father talking to one another about him. Is he? What happened? His mother asked. Her normally calm voice, full of confidence and judgment, was uncertain and frightened. Sammy said that Jace did it, his father answered. Did what? His mother's voice was strained. Killed all those cool. Called that cylinder from the ship, his father explained. Sammy said he was talking to an AI. Artificial intelligence? His mother's voice was filled with a mixture of awe and fear. Yes, called Gehenna, his father answered. And it's real? She asked. Yes, it's real, his father said. So it was real. Jace remembered then what had happened and why there was so much pain when he tried to wake up fully. Gehenna had told him, warned him. He was lucky to be alive. Remember what we practiced, Jace, she'd said. I have no idea. You will. I'm going to show you. Sort of like muscle memory, but in your brain, she told him. You are special. You can access Precursor-technology that no one else can. What? Why? How? The pounding at the door was intense now. Metal screech as the cool ripped the bars off of the windows of Walter's house. He wondered why they didn't have tools like lasers or something to simply cut through. But then again, in Aliens, the creatures hadn't needed tools or weapons. They, themselves, were both. That happened to be the same here. Too much to answer right now. Just trust me that it is true. Gehenna's voice was strangely unhurried and calming, though he knew that she was probably more keenly aware than he was how bad it would be if the cool got inside. Walter's granddaughter let out a wail of fear. Grampy, I'm scared. The monsters are going to get in. It's okay, Walter lied as he curled a protective arm around her. It's going to be okay. Sammy turned to Jace. Jace, is there anything you can do? Yeah, he told her. Yeah, there is. Metal rain. Metal? I'm going to access a precursor defense drone. He repeated the words that Gehenna told him. It should take out the cool. All of them and their nearby ships, but I might, bleed. Bleed. Sammy's eyes flickered over his face. She looked so concerned. Yeah, so I need you to keep everybody calm, okay? There will be screaming too, Jace. You're going to feel like your brain is being put in a blender, Gehenna warned. We haven't fully connected yet, and you haven't fully, well, let's just say that it's going to be like trying to use the wrong current in a machine. It's going to be painful, Jace told Sammy as his mouth went dry. Don't let anybody touch me, though, or even try to stop it. It's the only way. Sammy hesitated, then gave a brief, jerky nod as she held George tighter against her chest. I've got you. Thanks, he told her. He touched her arm that curled around George. Really? For everything? She blinked. For everything, he repeated, wanting her to know how much he'd appreciated her being friends with weird Jace Parker all these years when it had cost her socially. He didn't fit in anywhere, not in her world any more than his other classmates, but she had still made a place for him. Her eyes hardened and softened. You don't need to thank me. Your friendship is enough. He smiled. Gehenna, let's do this, he told the AI, fully committed to whatever would come next. All right, I'm going to shut down your vision. Wait, what? You will see, but not with your eyes. Just as one of the Cetixes rammed its head through the door, his vision went black. It was complete and inky darkness for a moment, but then a light, softly green and glowing, appeared, so faint and far off. You see me? Gehenna asked. The green light? He asked. It reminds me of my dad and I went to the ocean. We were out in the middle of pure liquid darkness, but we had a single green light on the mast. Yes, the light. She sounded pleased to be described that way. Now, I need you to see past me. See past you? I can hardly see you. That was true. The green light looked to be miles away. He squinted and tried to see beyond the green light. With that effort, he was suddenly moving, gliding, flying towards the green light. Whoa! He stopped moving just as suddenly as he'd begun. No, Jace, don't stop. You are doing great, Gehenna urged. Look for what's behind me. He was quite a bit nearer to her now. She wasn't a pinprick of green fairy dust, but more a globe the size of a basketball. He tilted his head to the side, and his whole perspective changed. It was then Then he saw what looked like the scattering of sparks from a downed electrical wire. I see something, he told her. You're going to connect with that. It's the Osiris's system. You'll connect and you'll be able to activate Metal Rain, she said. Osiris is the name of a ship, Jace. The ship I'm on. But Osiris is a human name, and yes, as is Gehenna. It will all make sense later. Now, Gehenna instructed, and he thought he faintly heard screams, but then the void of silence and blackness, other than the green light and the sparks, returned fully. Go to the Osiris. He tried to put one foot in front of the other in order to walk to the wild sparks that snapped and dazzled in the darkness. That was when he realized he had no feet. He had no body. Of course you don't. This is pure mind, Jace. Well, sort of. Gehenna chuckled. All you need to do is imagine moving, and you will. Jace stared at the sparks. He did not move. Don't just look at them. Want to be near them. Want to connect, Gehenna said. He remembered how he had wanted to see beyond the green light. He remembered thinking he needed to be closer, and so he had moved. Now he imagined himself right by the sparks, and he was there. He reared back as the sparks zapped and buzzed all around him. And were there screams and thumps and the shattering of glass and someone praying and, "You're imagining Osiris as a downed electric line," Gehenna mused. That's actually good and bad. Bad because it's going to electrocute me, Jace laughed uncertainly. The sparks now were coming off a coiled snake of line. The line ran off into the darkness. But it isn't. Well, it is, this time, but you will be able to withstand it, Gehenna told him. It's just going to hurt like a son of a bitch, he clarified, remembering what she had said earlier. Yes, unfortunately, but I'm going to do everything I can to shield you, she told him. You're probably really wishing I had just agreed to go to you and not taken this detour, he said. Not at all. I mean, yes, in a way. I wish to keep you safe, but it is not in your nature to turn away from those that need your help, she assured him, sounding thoughtful. That is why you were the perfect choice to be the pilot. The pilot, not just a pilot? His eyebrows lifted. Answers later, she said evasively, and he had an idea that as many answers as she gave would only lead to more questions. All of this certainly had. Now, the reason that you are seeing the Osiris represented this way is because you sense that the Osiris is not connected as it should be, so all that power has nowhere to go. But if you want to connect to it, Jace, you'll be able to direct where some of it goes. To bring down Metal Rain, he guessed. Exactly, she agreed, obviously pleased with him. So, how do I connect with the Osiris? You grab it, she said brightly. I grabbed the downed electrical wire. He lifted an eyebrow. Yes. Well, it sounds bad and unwise, but you're shielding me, and he broke off as the screams he heard from the real world were deafening. He was being jostled. Someone, Walter, was yelling, "We've got to get to the basement! They're coming through!" And someone else, Sammy, responded, "He said not to touch him. He's going to save us." "He's going to die!" Walter screamed. "And I have to do this," Jace finished as those voices died away. He didn't hesitate. He snatched at the live wire. He missed. "God damn, what the hell?" Jace growled. "Try again." Gehenna sounded so patient, but he knew that there was no time left. He crouched down inches from the edge of the moving, sparking length of wire. He took a breath, stretched out his hands on either side of the wire, and caught it beneath both palms. Then he was screaming. If he had ever imagined what it would be like to grab a live wire in his hand and be electrocuted endlessly and not die, it wouldn't have been half as painful as it actually was. It felt like his blood boiled away and left blackened, smoking channels through his brain. It seemed like his eyes were boiling and popping as the electricity cooked them. Everything hurt. But the darkness was no longer dark any longer. Instead, he was seeing the schematics for a massive spaceship, a ship as large as the one in the thing that they found in the ice. But this one was so much bigger, and it wasn't saucer-shaped, but reminded him of a skyscraper, but lying on its side. "Go inside, Jace. Follow the path to the place I marked. That's Metal Rain. You can do this," Gehenna urged him. He wasn't sure how he did it, but he followed one of the golden lines on the ship, likely some kind of conduit, to a cylindrical shape that was glowing softly. Wake it up, Jace, Gehenna told him. She didn't tell him how. She didn't need to. All he did was touch it, and suddenly the cylindrical shape burned as bright as the sun. Jace closed his eyes to the searing light, and then... His eyes are bleeding. Oh no, Jace, you're bleeding. Are you okay? Sammy was pleading with him. They're dead, but you're Jace. Please answer me. Jace opened his eyes. It was hard. His lashes were wet with a substance that was almost tacky, sticking his eyelids together, but he managed to pry them apart. He was on the ground in Walter's front room. The bay window was shattered. The bars were wrenched to the side, but there were no cool worming their way through the open space. He looked at the door. It was hanging by a thread, but there were no cool there either. Can we touch him now, Sammy? Walter asked. His voice was so tentative. I don't know. I don't know anything. Jace? Sammy cried. He could see her legs. He frowned. Yep, he was definitely down on the ground. He had to get up. He had to... Gehenna? There was no answer, and he nearly shrieked as he tried to reach the AI. His mind, God, his whole head throbbed. He reached up and put his hands on his temples, but quickly brought them down. It hurt to touch his skin. Jace? Sammy asked again, her voice full of tears. Cool, he whispered. He tasted copper on his tongue. He smelled copper when he breathed through his nose. Blood. Still alive, though. Damn. So much pain. There was a ringing in his ears, but it was strangely muted. Everything was muted. The pain was so bad. He wanted to vomit. He might do that, but not here. He had to get outside. Something. He had to get outside. They're all dead, I think, Walter answered for Sammy. Did you do that, Jace? How did you do that? Jace put one foot on the ground. He was on his knees now, and tried to lift himself up. He staggered. Walter touched his shoulders, and he nearly shrieked as the pain sloshed like acid through him. He wouldn't have been surprised if he was smoking, burned through and through by what he had done. Gehenna? He called again. He thought he heard the faintest reply, but it was drowned out by the agony in his head. He forced himself to his feet. He wobbled, but stayed upright. He really was going to vomit. Maybe then he would feel better. Walter's house was trashed anyways. He let out a few burbling chuckles. Are the monsters gone? George asked around the 3 fingers that he managed to stuff in his mouth. Yes, Georgie, they're gone, Sammy told him, sniffing. Tears of relief, Jace hoped. Here, a girl said. Jace barely recognized her as the birthday girl as she pushed a wet towel into his hands. You're bleeding a little. He had a feeling from the look of pity and horror in her eyes that it wasn't a little. He brought the wet towel to his face. Touching his head was a mistake. He gasped and dropped the towel. Jace, what can we do? Walter asked. You need a hospital? Can someone call? No, Jace said. His voice sounded thick. His tongue was too big for his mouth. He had to go outside. He staggered to the door. He touched it, and it simply fell down. He stepped outside and saw the glowing cylinder, the defense drone that had rained down death upon the cool. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I need to take a drink of Diet Coke. And once again, Diet Coke, you should sponsor me just so I could have free Diet Coke forever. That would be awesome. I hope you guys all have your snacks and drinks and funness. Let's see what I've missed here. Ooh. So Shaylina said, I had read chapter 7, but held off on chapter 8 so I could listen to it for the first time today. It was torture. Oh my God. And when you find out what comes next, you're going to, oh God, I love chapter 10. Chapter 11, I'm a little nervous to do, but I'm really excited at the same time. Marina says, oh shit, this was so dramatic when I read it. So scary. Yay! Pam is replying to Shaylina, and she's, I couldn't have done that. I read it the moment it was online. Thank you. I'm so glad because I watch people like hop online as soon as I post it. And of course I'm posting always like at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning because I'm like writing straight through. Marina also says to Shaylina, "You are so brave. I think she means she couldn't be that patient." And she does. Shaylina says, "Don't think I will wait for days to read chapter 9 though once podcast is done." No, there's 9 and 10 already up. 11 comes up on Sunday. So, Marina says, "So dramatic. Oh God, it's even more dramatic as she reads it. I'm glad that you like my reading of it. I'm so excited." Shaylina says, "So true. I love her reading her work." Oh, thank you guys. I can't really do accents. And I think I've got like one guy voice, one all the same. Marina says, "Show of thumbs up. Who else has started reading wraithrain.com in Wraith's voice?" Oh my God. Oh my God. I love it. Shaylina says, "I think I could only get through not reading chapter 8 by reading like 5 other books and not going into her website, so the temptation wasn't there." Oh my goodness. You were so cute. Yeah, I've been reading for those who don't know, I've been reading Everdark chapters as well. When we didn't have enough Empire of Stars. Marina says, "I go every day basically. It's my first tile, my frequent sight section." Oh my God. Donna says, "Diet Coke is poison, you know." Yes. Yes, I know. And yet I do not care. I mean, I care, but I still drink it and I'm addicted. Claude says, "You really know how to torture your heroes." Exactly. We have to get like the angst factor high. I think Sylvia has always said that I always like my heroes a bit broken physically, and that's like weird or something. Well, in her voice, she doesn't really, that's not really her thing, but I do. I like mine guys to have to overcome a physical um like some kind of like physical problem. That's always like good. Marina says, "We love it." Oh, thanks. Laura says, "I'm not sure if I like reading the chapters as they come and then wait a month. Haha, it's so good. I can't hold them off." I know that's like, well, there's something about reading uh well, there's something about serial fiction in general. And I think I actually found somebody who understood this. Royal Road, a lot of people who do lit RPG post there, and then they write their stories serially and then they sometimes package them into books, whatever. And they said, it's really hard for them to read a book that's written from a serial like this because honestly, every chapter, and this is true, every chapter leads you on a cliff. Every single one. It's exhausting if you were to, in all honesty, read the. Oh, I think it's a little exhausting when you read it all through. But it's a lot of fun reading it one chapter or 2 chapters at a time. Melissa says, "Finally made it. Hi, Raythe." Hi, Melissa. Crystal says, "I waited. I love reading along with the narration. So you can definitely see the typos then." Yes, Crystal. No, I'm so glad. Donna says, "I love your stories." Thank you, Donna. Pam says, "Because of the time difference, it's online in the morning. So I wake up, take my phone, and read it." Yes, I know. I always feel bad because, in all honesty, I'm in Chicago, so Central Standard Time, but we have people all over the world. All over the world. Every single country, practically. The only ones are the ones that you can't accept money from. And so I know that, the calendar is set to my time. And even then, I'm still a little late. That's okay. All right, let me just hold on a second here. I just want to take another drink. So, we're not quite there yet, but believe me, we're going to go to do the we're going to have some like blog posts about alien genitalia. Yeah, I know. That's just something I had to throw in there. Alien genitalia. Sophie says, "Same. I get the chapters in the morning, hence my habit to wake up much earlier than I need to and read in the morning. It's been years like this now." Yes. Oh my God. Hannah says, "I won't yuck your yum. I personally don't like diet drinks because I can't stand the aftertaste of fake sugar." I used to be that same way. And yet now I don't taste it anymore, which just shows that I've become, uh, yeah. But I love that phrase. "I won't yuck your yum." Yeah, that's true. Marina says, "I love your typos." Just so you know, Marina, in your suggestions for the Vampires Club, I did add in a description of Gaia, of what she looks like. It was one of the things you had asked for, even though, so that's good. Lurlane says, "It's like reading emotional and psychological angst of your heroes, but I love how you evolve them throughout your story. Well, that's what I'm trying. I'm getting better, and I think I'm getting better at that. Like, you know, having them actually grow, which is really good and important. Having them have an arc. I really appreciate that. All right, so should we keep going? I think we should keep going. All right, so this is part 2 of chapter 7 of Empire of Stars. There were so many of them. Their acidic blood, though, was not pooling. Instead, they looked desiccated. That was likely good. That much acid on the ground would have caused a dangerous vapor to rise up and gas them. He picked his way through the dead towards the cylinder. It was over 100 feet above him. It glowed and spun. He heard a whirring from it, an electrical hum. He reached up to it. Would it still respond to him? Were they still connected? Gehenna? He called again into the void. He did hear a whisper this time. Brought someone help you. Her voice came to him in an almost ghostly tone between bursts of static and pain. He still had the gun that he had thought connected them. He'd stuffed it in the back of his pants at some point. It was against his skin, but Gehenna still sounded so far away. That was when he heard the footsteps. He turned his head. And a man, a blue man, was running towards him. This man, he was male for sure, was over 6 feet and had the perfect V-shaped torso that melted into long, powerful legs. The exosuit he wore hugged his form. He had long white hair with beads in it that clacked as he ran. His ears were pointed and pierced with golden rings. There was a darker blue tattoo over his right eye. His eyes! They're blue too, all blue like the bluest of skies. It was clear that this being was an alien. Blue skin, blue eyes, and he had weapons that were similar in design to the pistol Jace had taken from the soldier. And beyond him was a spaceship, a Paladin-class spaceship. Gehenna had brought this alien being here to help him, to get Jace to her. And then he collapsed. So much pain. It had drained the last of his strength. He'd fallen into the alien's arms and begged the alien to take him to Gehenna. And that was how he had found himself here, in this place between consciousness and unconsciousness, listening to his parents talk about him as if he weren't there. Do you think? His mother's voice was so low and filled with guilt and shame and dread that it has anything to do with? Yes, his father answered her. But there was nothing before. It was just, yes, I know, but it has to be Diane. His father's voice was insistent. I want to interview Sammy and Walter. I want to interview everyone who was there. His mother's voice was filled with the determination of command. I will understand this. And Jack, if anyone asks, I'll make sure no one does and that they get no answers, his father said gruffly. Because if anyone else even so much as guesses what he can do. His mother let the sentence hang. I know, Diane. It's going to be all right. His father's voice was soft. We'll keep him safe. Will we? His mother's voice quavered, but then she was the colonel again. Yes, we will. And then he fell into darkness again. He surfaced once more to hear his father speaking to someone else. Someone else sounded male, cultured, and powerful. He also sounded stubborn as all hell. Tell me about your son, the someone else said. Commander Vor, his father began patiently but firmly. There is nothing that I can tell you at this. How did he cause you? Okay, that was a mistake there. How did he call the ship Osiris? Yes, Osiris to function against the Cool. Commander Vor asked. Commander Vor. Jace was able to just crack his eyelids open. He recognized where he was. The institutional green walls with the paint peeling, the fluorescent lights that buzzed above him, the smell of age. He was in Area 67, in the hospital wing where he'd spent too much of his life already. The lights were too bright, and he immediately shut his eyes again. Who says my son did anything of the sort? We have no idea why the Osiris reacted that way. Perhaps it was simply because the Cool attack and triggered. The majority of the Cool were headed towards this base. Commander Vor's voice was crisp. I just spent the better part of 5 of your hours destroying them. No, the Osiris did not attack those Khoth who were heading straight towards it. If the Osiris was protecting itself, it would have attacked the nearest group of Khoth, but instead it went over to one home where your son was. His father was silent for a moment, then said, Many people were there. Commander Vor didn't think that this lie was even worth acknowledging. Who is Gehenna? Gehenna? I don't. Your son wanted me to take him to this person. Who are they? Where are they? Why would he need or want to see them? Commander Vor inexorably continued on. Why isn't Dad telling him the truth? Why doesn't Mom want anyone to know what I did? I think we're done here. My son is quite ill. You can see that with your own eyes, can't you? His father's tone was brusque. Jace cracked his eyelids again and turned his head slightly to the right, where the voices were coming from. He caught sight of the blue alien who Gehenna had brought to help him. His father's back was to him, so he didn't see Jace was awake. But this Commander Vor did. Yet he did not tell Jace's father. Instead, Commander Vor stated simply, Your son stated he needed this person, Captain Parker, and he wanted me to assist him. It would be best for you to tell me what you know so that I can assist. Perhaps this Gehenna can help him. His father grabbed the door to Jace's room and opened it. He gestured to Khoth to leave. I don't answer to you. And the Illumen Alliance has made it quite clear that it doesn't want humanity as part of it. So, I suggest you take your questions elsewhere, because you're not getting answers here. Commander Vor's gaze slid to Jace for a moment. He didn't say anything about Jace being conscious, not that it lasted long. Just as he left the room, Jace sank back into darkness again. Captain Parker, you're needed, a young male voice said in that crisp, clear tone of a military officer. I'm not leaving my son, his father said. But it is General Antoshkin, sir. The young man's voice faltered a little. He asked for you specifically. His father let out a sigh, and Jace heard him get up. He must have been sitting in a chair by Jace's side. All right, I'll meet him. But you stay outside my son's room and let no one inside. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Jace could hear the salute in the young man's voice. He felt his father's hand on his right shoulder. I'll be back, Jace. Everything will be okay. Jace wanted to open his mouth and agree, but his lips felt welded together. He felt a brief squeeze, and then his father was gone. Jace worked on opening his eyelids and lips. He actually managed to issue a sigh. His eyelids unsealed themselves, and he winced as the illumination from the overhead lights was blinding. He lifted his left arm to shield his eyes and saw there was an IV attached to it. He blinked stupidly. Pain meds? Maybe a liquid form of the drugs the doctors here had prescribed for him? Gehenna? Jace? He clutched his temples as the pain rippled through him. I'm sorry, Jace. I'm sorry, but I'm here. You're so close, Gehenna said. You've got to get to me so we can complete the connection. Her voice then fuzzed out, but he could still feel her. Now, I just have to get to her. Jace sat up in bed. Agony poured from his head down his spine and spread to the rest of the body. He collapsed on his side, curling into a ball, holding his head. He felt something hot leak out of his nose, and he saw crimson spread across the sheets. Blood. Oh, man, this is not good. I have to get to Gehenna. But he clearly wasn't going to do it on his own. Maybe when his father returned, he could explain. No, Dad might not help me. He'll think I'm just sick, or even if he does believe me, he'll be afraid that Gehenna will do something bad to me. There's only one person who's interested in getting me to Gehenna. Can't go in there. Captain Parker's orders. The young man's voice rose shrilly up outside the door. I am not bound by your military, Commander Vor stated coldly. Remove yourself from my path. No, Captain Parker said. Let him in, Jace called. There was a confused silence. Jace repeated, Let Commander Vor in. Every word was like sticking a dagger in his brain and jiggling it about. But he didn't care. He was willing to shout down the rafters to get that alien in here. But your father. I know, but I want to see Commander Vor. My father just didn't want me disturbed by people I didn't want to see, Jace said. Another silence, and then the door opened, and the blue alien, came inside and regarded Jace evenly. Then he saw the blood coming from his nose, and it seemed he moved so fast. He was by Jace's bedside with a gauze he grabbed from somewhere, cleaning off the blood. What is causing your distress? Commander Vor asked as Jace took the gauze from him and held it to his still bleeding nose. Gehenna, Jace stated. He realized his error when those blue eyes widened for a moment. But I thought you said... No, I mean, yes. I need her. She can help me, Jace told him. You are very confusing. I hope that you are not confused, Commander Vor stated. You are speaking English. Yes, it is a simple language to learn, Commander Vor said. I thought maybe Gehenna was letting me understand you, but you talked to the guards, so... Ah! My head! Jace put his hands to his head. Everything grew dark for a moment, but then came back into focus. Commander Vor's face filled his vision. The alien's furrowed brow and frown told Jace that he was going to get Jace help, and that would put an end to him getting to Gehenna, who was the only thing he needed. Gehenna is here, on the base. I can feel her, Jace told him. I need to get to her. She can, fix this. He gestured to the blood that still dripped from his nose before dabbing it with the gauze. You are very certain of this. It was a statement and not a question. Jace began to nod, but the corkscrewing pain in his neck stopped him. Yes, I know it to be true. I have got to get to her, but I can't do it by myself. And you want my help? Commander Vor's voice was soft, even though it is likely against your military's rules and your parents' wishes. Because it is. My parents care for me. They can't think logically about this, Jace told him. Commander Vor nodded. That is true. They are ruled by their Z, for you are their only child. Yeah, exactly. But you want to know what's going on, and Gehenna knows that, Jace guessed. It wasn't that big of a leap, considering what Khoth had said to his father. So, will you help me? Commander Vor was silent. His gaze was distant. He was clearly weighing the risks versus the rewards. Finally, he focused on Jace's face. I will help you. Great. Okay, we need a wheelchair and... Oh, hey! Jace cried out. Commander Vor had lifted Jace up in his arms as if Jace weighed nothing at all. Carrying you is faster. Tell me where this Gehenna is, and I will take you there. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 7. And one thing I automatically noticed is that I never had them disengage that IV line. So unless the IV was like running behind them, I guess it just pulled out. I don't know. Oh God. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna go back up. Sophie says, love the typos too. The best ones are when some characters from another story really showed up in bed with the heroes. Well, what's worse is when I'm writing like the Vampires Club, and I'm writing, I wrote that, God, because I had a big problem with the story arc, so I was literally writing like 10,000 words a day. It was crazy. Anyway, and so everybody was Lucas. It was always Lucas, and I had to do a Control F to make sure that Lucas hadn't showed up instead of Jace, and it's really, that's how that happens. Janet says, enjoy your stories. This is my first time listening in. Well, I'm so glad you're here, Janet. Marina says, yay. Amanda says, diet drinks are bad for you. That's what everybody says. I don't care. It is my, I love them. I love them. Marina says, when did that happen? I don't know what you're replying to, so I don't know. Pam says, Khoth. Marina says, ugh, that V-shape. You don't like the V-shape? The V-shape is the classic. Marina says, the instant attraction between these two is practically a mutual gravity, and I love it. Yeah, Jace is so into blue aliens. I mean, as we'll find out, he is fascinated. And actually Khoth is quite fascinated too by this cute little elfin perky boy, although he's going to go through his Captain America transformation soon, so it'll make sense why a guy who, is suddenly built, because it's not like we automatically are like that. So Shaylina says, at a previous podcast someone says you should put a spider alien And you said it was going to be done. Since then, I've been thinking about it and think it would be awesome if the spider alien had different web effects. Like there could be meds that the web had healing properties, and warrior webs could have acidic or explosive properties. Been thinking fun kinds of different properties webs could have. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to definitely do about the alien genitalia, and I think we're also going to do a thing where you sort of build an alien for me, because we're going to have a bunch of misfit toys on their crew. And Shaylin says, you shouldn't put spiders in the story. Why? Oh. Um, and basically, a cat says, always bugs. Always. Yes, bugs always make it in. Um, let's see. And Marina says, Princess Carrie is perfect. Yes, he is being princess carried. But like I said, I forgot to have them remove the IV. Lo says it's interesting that Raythe reads Gehenna's voice much more human than I've been imagining it. I figured an AI would sound much more matter of fact. I will happily adjust to the more emotional and caring voice. No, she really is very emotional and caring, and she's very funny, actually. Um, and she's very sneaky, and she's a lot of things that you would not expect, and that may be part of the reason why she is where she is. Just part of the reason. There's so many things that I'm learning about her as we go along, and she makes me so happy. So happy. And I also think that she knows how to, because she adjusted herself to respond to Jace in a way that he would really respond to. And so that's why she used colloquialisms, and she says things like I sense and all this kind of stuff. So she's been with him for 10 years. So that's why she's far more, yes, Hannah just says, I think Raythe mentioned that the AI's voice and personality were chosen to match him. Yes, they are. She absolutely is. And she enjoys this. She definitely enjoys it. So she enjoys being connected to him this way, and that he feels connected to her. Okay, so one comment that I loved about the next chapter was actually from Sophie, and she goes, "You have them basically like standing there awfully long, like just holding you, like being held and holding him." And I love it in the next chapter. Lurleen says Jace will still have his beautiful eyes, which pleases Khoth. As for the IV pick line, we still have our imaginations. Exactly. So you could either imagine it being pulled along after them and falling over and dragging along and then falling off at some point, or I don't know, you could just imagine during their long conversation that one of them pulled it out. That would probably be good. And for those of you who are worried about my Diet Coke obsession, you probably should be. Although I've been drinking Spindrift, which is actually just sparkling water with a little bit of juice in it, which is very good. But I'm sorry, nothing's better than Diet Coke. Nothing. Okay, so I think I will now go on to the first part of Chapter 8. So we can get into that. What? All right. Chapter 8. Escape. It was strange to be so close to a human. Jace weighed practically nothing in Khoth's arms. He was very slender and had delicate but masculine features. His hair was the color of a Hassian sunrise. Jace's lips were full and sensual, indicating a passionate nature, though they were pressed together now in a grimace as he fought back pain. Jace's gray eyes were also filled with silent suffering, but a kind of wonder, too, as he gazed up at Khoth's face as if memorizing his features. To be so scrutinized was strange as well. The humans Khoth had met so far had tried to act as if he were no different than them, but Jace did not hide what looked to be a sense of wonder. Khoth would have liked to have scrutinized the young male human with as much openness as Jace did him, but it filled Khoth with uneasiness somehow to gaze into eyes the color of storms. He did not know why. Perhaps it was because humans were so filled with Z, and always seemingly in an unbalanced state, that it naturally affected those who weren't. As it was, he had to drag his gaze away from Jace's face. Can I touch your face?" Jace asked. Khoth frowned. "Why?" Color rose in the human's cheeks, and his eyes immediately became downcast. "Because I've never, seen someone like you. Oh, forget it. It was a stupid idea anyways, probably rude and against the rule book of dealing with another species. I believe your species has developed some kind of code of conduct with Alliance personnel, but as I have not seen it, I cannot say if you have violated it, Khoth told him. Jace looked at him through dark eyelashes. Did I offend you by asking? No. Well, that's good, Jace answered with a weak smile. Sorry, it's just... You're so much like I imagined an alien would be, and nothing at all, too. The blue skin is really, interesting and beautiful. I don't mean interesting in a bad way. So your desire to touch me is for scientific inquiry? Khoth asked as he adjusted Jace in his arms so he's cradling the human and allowing for Jace to rest his head against Khoth's shoulder. Scientific, sure? Jace sounded like he was asking a question. I'm just curious, really. I don't need to touch you. I just wanted to. Want to. Then you may. But tell me where I should go once we leave this room, Khoth stated simply. Right, okay. You're going to want to take a left and head down the hall, Jace told him as his right hand hesitantly rose and his fingertips lightly trailed. Let's add that in. Trailed down Khoth's left cheek. Wow, your skin is so smooth. Why is that? And these beads in your hair, what do they mean? And the tattoo? You have many questions, Khoth interrupted him. Jace let out an uncertain laugh. Yeah, so many. So many. You're amazing. Khoth inclined his head. Thafel are superior to humans. Jace blinked. Oh. In every way. It is understandable that you find me amazing, he said. Jace blinked some more. You're very literal and honest, I guess. Khoth considered this. He wasn't sure if Jace meant that as a compliment or found it in human terms arrogant. I think it saves time to be honest. Do you not think so as well? I think that honesty can be really good. Jace's eyes unfocused for a moment as if he were thinking of something else. Yeah, definitely good. I would answer your questions, but your condition is not stable, Khoth stated. Getting you to Gehenna will resolve this? Jace nodded, then winced. Yeah. We shouldn't waste time on my questions about you, at least not now anyway. But later. Will you tell me later? If the conditions are right, I will do so, Khoth answered and carried Jace to the door. The soldier outside will attempt to impede our progress. Jace was so light that he could easily cradle him in one arm and manipulate the door handle at the same time. Earth and Halcyon's gravity were approximately the same, but humans were not as heavy as Thafel, and Jace seemed lighter than other humans. Don't worry about the soldier. I'll deal with him, Jace said. Truly, you hardly look able to deal with your own pain right now, Khoth pointed out. Jace had winced with every step he had taken. Khoth had tried not to jostle the young man, but even the tiniest of movements apparently caused Jace discomfort. What was wrong with him? Had it something to do with this Gehenna? Or was it a reaction to the Precursor-technology that had destroyed the Cool? He knew Jace was behind all that somehow. Jace gave a laugh and then winced again as he brought a hand up to his temple. Oh, that hurt. No laughing. But yeah, you're right. I'm a mess, but I'm a determined mess. I have to get to Gehenna. Will you tell me who that is? Khoth asked. Yeah, let's just get out of the room first, Jace said. Just as he had suspected, the moment that he opened the door, the young soldier that had blocked him earlier immediately stiffened and stepped into their path, trying to block him once again. Khoth's eyes narrowed. The soldier might be following orders, but he was getting in the way of the greater good. The moment, though, that Khoth thought that, guilt welled up in him. Failing to follow orders and following the alleged greater good had gotten him nearly exiled. He should respect the soldier's devotion to duty, and yet whatever was going on with Jace was undoubtedly important. More important than abiding by rules, he imagined his mother asking. But then he imagined Desa saying, Khoth, you know what is right. Rules and laws try to lead us to that, but sometimes they have us heading in the opposite direction. What's going on here? The soldier's eyes were full of suspicion, and his right hand dropped down to the butt of his primitive weapon. I thought you were just going to speak to each other. Don't worry, Jace said. Khoth could almost feel the effort that simply smiling and saying those words cost Jace. Sweat coated Jace's pale skin. He was clearly in agony. Commander Khoth here is just taking me for tests. Tests? What is he talking about? The soldier's forehead furrowed in the same evident confusion that Khoth was feeling. Tests? But why would an alien, why would someone other than a nurse or doctor be doing that? Because they're alien tests. I was exposed to the cool, you see, Jace stated with an almost guilty smile, as if being exposed to the cool was somehow a moral failing and not an incredibly brave act. Jace continued on almost merrily. Yeah, I might be infected, and if I am, then only alien technology can save me. The soldier grew pale and took a half step back. He knew enough about the cool, evidently, to fear them, but did not understand their abilities. If Jace were truly infected, the only thing that could be done for him would have been a quick death and the incineration of his corpse. Infected? That doesn't sound good, the soldier said, shifting uncomfortably. Yeah, it's not. I hope I'm not infectious. Commander Khoth, do you think I pose a risk of infection? Jace asked. I could not really say. Khoth answered neutrally to Jace's lies. Again, he realized he was aiding and abetting the breaking of rules and orders. But these were human rules and orders, so did it really count? Perhaps not even his mother or the council would care about its breaking these. Humans were, after all, a lesser species, whose reasoning was often clouded with their barbaric instincts. What he had seen Jace do today was far more important to investigate than to honor human laws. The soldier retreated 5 more steps and licked his lips nervously. His eyes flickered all over Jace's pale and sweaty face, taking in the pain the young man clearly was in. It was evident that the soldier feared contracting whatever alien disease that Jace had. Khoth nearly sighed. Well then, you'd best be on your way. The soldier swallowed hard. I'll just, stay here and let your father know that you went for, those tests. When he gets back, that is. I'll just stay here. Thanks, I really appreciate it, Jace said. He still smiled at the soldier, but he seemed a little grayer than before. Khoth stirred uneasily. Was Jace's condition deteriorating? Commander, remember you to go down that way. That's where the, tests are going to be administered. Jace pointed down the hallway towards the Osiris dig site. The soldier pressed himself to the wall and edged away from them as Khoth carried Jace past him. You lied to that soldier, Khoth pointed out when they were out of hearing distance. And you went along with it, Jace pointed out back. Khoth frowned. He had. That is true. I did have qualms about doing so. Really? Jace let out a faint laugh. That surprises me. Why do you doubt me? Which way? Khoth asked as they had come to a T intersection. To the right, and then left, next chance you get, Jace told him. Gotta add a the there. Jace told him and pointed north. Gehenna's in that general direction. Khoth moved swiftly as he had indicated. Jace continued. As to your question about me thinking you're not above breaking some rules and telling some lies, well, you saw I was awake, but didn't tell my dad. You know that Gehenna is more important than anything right now. I do not know anything about Gehenna. You were going to tell me, or will you go back on your word? Khoth asked. He had a feeling that they were going to be breaking more rules and telling more lies before they got to this Gehenna. He needed to know what he was risking his honor again for. Gehenna is an AI. To be honest with you, I'm not sure of a lot. But since you're helping me, I think I should tell you everything. Not to mention she said she brought you to me to help, Jace said. Khoth thought of how his ship had suddenly not obeyed his command. Had Gehenna somehow been able to access the Exarch systems and control them? This was utterly new. No AI had ever been discovered in Precursor tech before. Various species of the Alliance had dabbled in creating AI, but all had pulled back from such research when the dangers it presented outweighed the good. But if Jace was truly in touch with a Precursor AI, well, that changed everything. Getting Jace to Gehenna was suddenly the most important mission he could have. Tell me everything you know, Khoth said. Okay, so let me tell you about my dreams. Okay, I'm going to take a little break here because I desperately need Diet Coke. I want to see what everyone's saying. All right. So Shaylina says, good thing I read ahead because I had a customer come in and my coworker was out of the office. Good deal. So you didn't miss anything. Hannah says, Jace won't be unbalanced with you, Khoth. You are his He totally is. And I'm thinking when I'm trying to do Khoth's voice, I really do think of Spock, of course. I'm trying to sort of like, obviously I can't do the Spock voice or anything like that, but I can do the syntax, the way they speak, the those little things. Marina says, I love Koth's blunt style. He doesn't know what he's getting into when he gets tangled up with Jace. He has no idea. And things get even more complex for him as this all goes on because he realizes that he has another opportunity to basically violate the rule of Dukeshka, which got him into the mess of being an Earth in the first place. Um, but the thing is that there is a lot to be said. I guess there is this eternal thing for me, like doing what is good for the whole over the for the you know I can't even say, doing what's best for the whole while sacrificing the one. To me, and maybe this is a very like American thing. I don't know. It's very hard. That just feels like it's very individualistic. But at the same time, I do recognize that honestly, putting the self to the side and doing what's best for society overall is really difficult, and it's a really honorable way to be as well. To really be thinking about others, and I think honestly, ironically, in this pandemic, we're in that point, right? Where even if we think we're not going to get it or we're strong enough to not get it too badly or whatever, although I'm not saying we are, trust me, we're not. Um, it's still hard. You're still sacrificing. So, Crystal said, this is so good, so worth the wait. Thank you, Crystal. Laura says, I think Khoth being so literal will make an awesome balance with Thama. I know she's like totally like, who did I base her off of? Truthfully, I just think of her as like a maverick, very much like a fighter pilot, like the type that like drinks hard, plays hard, gets up after an hour sleep, and yet is able to do like to be perfect. And in terms of her flying, uh, a sort of a Han Solo esque character in a way. She's definitely like not a scoundrel, but I would say somebody who um doesn't really abide by rules. She just not by any rules set by society. She just abides by the rules of the jungle, so to speak. Hannah says, I bet he breaks the rule of Dakushka a lot. Yes, he does. That's gonna be one of the things, and it's gonna be really um basically what I really think happens here is that what I don't know. I guess what both Koth and Jace sort of show to the Alliance is that if you don't value individuals at the same time, it's like you have to have a balance, right? Where you have to really, really, uh, how shall I say? You have to have that balance where you're honoring the one, like the Marines, where they say that they don't leave anyone behind, any person behind, because that makes people fight harder and do things that are um honestly more dangerous because they know that they think anyway that people will come back for them, so they take those risks. I think that's sort of like what Jace is going to bring to this, that if you um really if you really show people how necessary they are, it's very important. Another thing is, of course, though, the things that happened to prisoners of the Cool, which Jace is going to find out coming up, um, also make what the Alliance has done make a lot more sense, and you really do understand. Let's see. Marina says, so an actual pilot, an actual Navy pilot. Yes, pretty much. That's exactly what she is. She is a total fly girl. Laura says, it would be so funny to see them get drunk. I don't know why. There actually is a scene I have in my head where Jace is trying to get the help of a certain species and agrees to basically drink their alcohol. And of course, it's really toxic to humans. And it's like then, basically Koth, like, having to go drink to drink with him and then take care of him afterwards. And he's so, but I think, when Sophie says drunk Khoth, oh my God, I'm like, yeah, yeah, that would be fun too. That would be really way fun. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So another drink and then I'll be on with it. Okay. This is part 2 of chapter 8 of Empire of Stars. Jace told him of his dreams, of the training that he could half remember, of Gehenna being able to contact him more clearly once he had a precursor gun, of connecting with the Osiris, and finally, of Metal Rain. Khoth said nothing as Jace talked. His mind whirled with the possibilities of what Jace was telling him. The Alliance should not have left the Osiris in human hands. That this human was somehow connected to a precursor AI was unthinkable. That the connection was far from perfect was undoubtedly because humanity was simply not evolved enough to connect to it properly. If the Osiris had been in Thafel hands, then the connection would have been successful the first time. Khoth was guessing at some of this, but past discoveries had shown that those races with a greater association with precursor species were able to access higher levels of their technology, while in the hand of Azols, the precursor gun was able to fire single shots, but in the hand of a Thafel, the gun would transform to offer different rates of fire, different energy levels, and even different effects. So it only makes sense that a precursor AI could do far more with a connection to a Thafel than to a human. While he had somehow doubted the course he was on by violating human laws, he realized now that he was doing the right thing and acting for the greater good. Captain Jack Parker had made it clear that he had no intention of letting Khoth know about the AI and Jace's connection to it. That was unacceptable. No, he had to find out everything about this Gehenna for the Alliance. As Jace finished with what had happened after the death of the Cool, he glanced down and saw that Jace's eyes were shut and sweat poured down his face from the effort. Khoth felt a tug of worry. Gehenna claims that if you complete this connection, that you will be well, Khoth qualified. Yeah, that's what she says, Jace got out. Turn right here, and then we need to go down. Jace directed them into a hallway that ended in some kind of lift. The doors to this lift were guarded by 2 human soldiers. The soldiers were not the only security for measures for use of the lift. His exosuit scanners told him that it also required various DNA scans and access codes to work. Khoth could easily get past the 2 human soldiers, because under the Alliance's agreement with the humans, any Alliance soldier of his rank was automatically granted access to the Osiris. But he had not yet had time to get formally added to their primitive security systems. And while he was certain he could have simply bullied his way past regardless, he could not do so successfully with Jace in his arms. The soldiers would immediately contact Captain Parker, and their quest would be at an end. But he needed to get to Gehenna as much as Jace did now, so really there was only one course open to him, which was to use the Alliance's superior technology to override the soldiers and the security. "What are you thinking?" Jace asked. He looked down and saw that Jace's eyes were open and watching him carefully. What would the young man think of his solution? Causing human soldiers to fall unconscious and then hijacking a lift was potentially beyond what Jace had thought it would take to get them to Gehenna. Would he balk at such actions? "We have a problem. 3 problems. Khoth tipped his head to the soldiers on the elevator. "Oh, shit, yeah." Jace bit his lower lip, and more beads of icy sweat coursed down his face as he took in the setup. "You don't think my infection ploy will work with them?" "Somehow, I do not think so." "Gehenna is down there. Further down than the elevator goes, but we have to go through here," Jace said. "There's no other access point." "I can get us past the soldiers and the security protocols," Khoth stated, as his alarm at Jace's deteriorating condition increased. "How?" Jace stared at him out of glassy eyes that he struggled to focus. "I can—" "Funny seeing you here, Commander." Flight Commander Thamapyrus's voice rose up behind them. Khoth whipped around to see the other Thafel pilot standing there. Unlike most Thafel, she had shorn her white hair close to her skull on the sides and top. Because of this, she had no cell sheet to show her family's station. This could have meant that she was the last of her line, and that she had no family living, or that she had simply been cut off. The closely shorn hair also revealed several raised, ropey scars, visible along the right side of her head, that crawled over her temple and transected her eyebrow. That these scars had not been able to be fully excised told him that the original wounds must have been quite serious, maybe even life-threatening. Considering how she flew, with wild abandon, as if she had no za at all, he was not surprised. But he also guessed that they indicated that she was brave. She had on a very worn black and blue exosuit that had seen better days, but she wore it like a second skin. One of her hands was on her left hip while the other hung loosely at her side. A half smile curled her lips, but that smile changed as she took in his demeanor. Her blue eyes narrowed. You look very guilty there, Commander Khoth Voor. What are you up to with that young human in your arms? Are you going to take him aboard your ship and probe him? Jace let out a strangled laugh. Khoth stared at her in confusion. Flight Commander Thama, I have no idea what you mean by that, but I can assure you that it's a human joke, Commander. Aliens and probing. She waved one of her hands through the air. I see your very ill friend understands. Her eyes narrowed firmer. Who are you, young man? I'm Jace Parker, and you are? Jace asked. Call me Thama, she said, even as her eyebrows lifted at the revelation of who he was. Jace Parker. So you are Jack and Diane's son. Well, the plot thickens. Why are you acting like a damsel in distress here? It's a long story, but Khoth is helping me, but we've hit a snag. Ah! Jace cried and curled forward. His lips no longer even had color. He was a mask of gray death. Khoth, we need to hurry. We need to get him to the Osiris, Khoth told her. His illness can only be treated aboard the ship. He feared she would ask 20 questions about why they needed to get there, about how an ancient alien vessel that had defied human and alliance tinkering to bring it back online could help Jace, and the many other issues his statement likely raised. But he should have known better. Thama was not only an incredible pilot, which meant she needed to make split-second decisions without full information. He already knew that she was quite the risk-taker. All right, she said, but neither of you have clearance yet to be near the Osiris. Hence, you spying on the soldiers instead of simply walking up to them. Something like that, Khoth answered stiffly. Something like that. I'm betting you were going to knock those two soldiers out and override the elevator's security systems, she asked, but treated it as a rhetorical question. You really are exciting, Commander. I am not exciting. I am merely doing what must be done, he said flatly. She did not know about Gehenna. She did not understand the stakes. Of course you are, which makes you utterly exciting. Ha! Thama laughed. Come on, I can get you two down without knocking out poor duty-bound soldiers and endangering the Alliance pact with Earth. Khoth squared his soldiers. He had been running that risk, hadn't he? But a precursor AI was surely something worthwhile doing that for. And, if he were honest, one look down at Jace's pale face had him feeling the need to do it anyways. Thama led them down the hallway. She had a spring in her step and that ironic half-smile on her lips. The soldiers saw them approaching and came more to attention. We can't let them call my parents and keep me up here, Jace gasped out. He slightly uncurled in Khoth's arms. Can't let them stop us. I think I'll only have one shot at this before I pass out again. Won't have the strength to convince them of what needs to happen. If I wake up... Again, Thama showed her trust in Jace and him, he supposed, as she said, Do not worry. You will get down to the Osiris. I'll make sure of it. They stopped just short of the soldiers, who appeared familiar with Thama, but were uncertain about him and Jace. Hello, Flight Commander. This is a woman. Hello, Flight Commander. What brings you and your friends here today? The soldier on the right asked. She was a human female with red hair and brown eyes, along with a faint scar through her upper lip. Private Norris, good to see you. I am bringing Commander Khoth Voor and Jace Parker down to the Osiris, she stated. Norris's eyes narrowed as she took in Jace's distress. Neither Commander Voor nor Jace Parker is on the list, Flight Commander. Thama lifted her scarred eyebrow, but said in a measured tone, They do not need to be private. Under Section 3.5.9 of the Human Alliance Agreement of 1963, all Alliance personnel are allowed access to the Osiris. Jace Parker isn't Alliance. He's... One of us, the male soldier to their left said. That's Colonel and Captain Parker's son, and he doesn't look good. Indeed, he does not. That is why we are taking him to the Osiris, Thama stated, her voice going slightly icy. There are medical facilities there that can help him. Again, Norris's forehead puckered. Like we said, we haven't been made aware of Jace Parker having access to the Osiris, let alone to medical equipment down there. I think I should call. Thama caught her wrist as she reached for her walkie-talkie. Private. By impeding me, you are threatening the agreement between our species. Commander Vor here is the son of the head counselor for the Alliance. Blocking him would lead to the very leaders of the Alliance having deep concerns. Not to mention that we have just saved you from a cool attack. Do you really want to risk that agreement right now? Norris and the male soldier exchanged nervous glances. They were potentially at an impasse. The human weapons could not hurt him or Jace. The shield the suit generated would be strong enough to cover them both from the projectile weapons. The humans were not half as strong as quick as even normal Thafel, let alone trained soldiers such as himself and Thama. And Jace's eyes were closed again. His breathing was rather labored. Just as Khoth was going to go back to his plan A in terms of taking out the soldiers and overriding the security system, Norris and her fellow soldier stepped aside to let them enter the lift. We're just being careful, Flight Commander, Norris said. Thama flashed her a smile. Of course, but you made the right call. Thama ushered Khoth and Jace into the elevator first before joining them. Her iris was scanned. Also, she pressed her palm to another scanner. Finally, she tapped in a code before the lift's doors whispered shut, and they started to descend at a great rate of speed. Jace let out a soft chuckle. His eyes were still closed, but he was still conscious, thankfully. Those soldiers are so calling my parents right now. Thama nodded as she stated, absolutely. She turned to Khoth and winked at him. I sincerely hope that you can run as fast as you fly, Commander, because if the humans aren't waiting for us the moment we get off this lift, they'll be hot on our trail. Khoth lifted his chin. I will get Jace to Gehenna, no matter what the cost. And that is the end of chapter 8. 8. My goodness. 8. So people still want to drunk Khoth, so that definitely has to happen. Sophie says, you're giving so much spoilers. I can't help it. Crystal says, I love the spoilers. Good. I know. I'm being so bad. I'm sorry. I'm being so bad. I keep forgetting that some people are holding back on reading it because they're listening. I'm one of these people who actually likes to know what happens so I don't get anxious. Lo says, I want to see a picture of Thama. She sounds hot. She actually is. Kat says, yes. And then I could totally, I'm not getting the cat out of the bag, but Mathia is working on something very special right now. Actually, 2 very special things that I will not speak of because Kat will hurt me. Claus says, already, no, I know. This actually went really fast, which surprises me. And I'm getting a little bit better at being able to read longer. Sheila says, yay. Now to go read chapter 9. Yes. And I think chapter 10 is even better than chapter 9. I mean, I like them both. But yeah, there's all this angst coming up, you guys. And there's going to be a lot of cool shit. So, I mean, this has been one of the... it's so easy to say I love all the stories, but I love science fiction. And I love this kind of... Kat just threatened me with a future with no cake. No! To get me to finish Vampires Club 7, she literally would bring me cake. Like muffin, a cookie... something after every time. She would drop it off down into my building, after lysoling the hell out of everything to give it to me. And she says, that's what you will face if you spoil things. I know. I won't do it. I won't do it. Going back to this thing is I really loved, to be honest with you, writing this because I don't think because science fiction is really, really expensive to make. They don't make a lot of it. Like, I love The Expanse. Oh my God. I absolutely love it. and there's been a bunch of other things I've been watching on Netflix. But it's normally a lot of dystopian future or stuff like that, which I'm more into the more hopeful stuff. I've been watching Picard and I've been watching Discovery, and I'm actually really excited about the new Captain Pike series because I think that more like Discovery, I think it's beautiful and it has some really interesting stuff, but it is really sort of dark and depressing, to be honest with you. Um, a little bit. Maybe it gets better going up, but for right now, for me, it's been a little bit. I mean, I've loved it in some things, and I've hated other things. Um, but anyway, I haven't done a science fiction work for a while since really The Abyss, um, because I wanted to. I was torn about the fact that I was finishing The Fell, and everybody knows my love of Star Wars. And So I've really wanted. I thought maybe, another father son epic. He'll be Star Wars with the serial numbers off. No, only kidding. But this then came to me, and honest to God, I just couldn't believe it. So Sophie says, I love science fiction too. Empire of Stars is awesome. I love the aliens and the spaceship. That's really my jam. Mine too. Like I said, I'm going to do some blog posts coming up where I'm going to ask you guys to help design some aliens and help even design some spaceships and help design some planets, and a lot of stuff like that. And obviously alien genitalia. Matt says, and that's why I'm late. Got cut off reading VC7. I hope you liked it, Matt. Like I said, I'm so nervous. Endings and beginnings are really tough. They're really tough. Lurleen says, I couldn't wait to read each of the new chapters. I am one who waits up to 2 and 3 a.m. the day it comes out. Great 9, great 10, pretty good. 10, chapter 9 is great. Chapter 10 is only pretty good. I thought 10 was better than 9, but you like that. You like 9 better. Hannah says, is there ice cream with the cake? No. And sometimes cake means savory things like homemade pasta. Believe me, I don't need any more carbs, but I've been like eating carbs like there's no tomorrow. Marina says, oh, I have a left field question. On the homepage, the huge picture of Valerius and Caden can swipe left and right. Is there any thought to getting at least some other stories banners on the home page, possibly on a rotation? No, not right now. We might, though, at some point, because we do have the options to do so. But I really love that image. It's sort of more like the Raythe flagship image now. But yeah, I mean, we might have some stuff there. We might do that. That would be cool. Right. Shalina says, Sophie says, I'm looking forward to that blog post on aliens. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have in store because I think you can be far more creative than me. Because I'm really good at world building. And normally though, characters come to me, but I haven't worked out all their ins and outs. But for a lot of you, the way you think of characters is all these details about them. And I think about them in an emotional sort of like stream of consciousness way. So put us together and we have like a good thing. Matt said it was fabulous. And it means VC7. Oh, thank you. It was really, I've also put up the pre-order for the next book, Sinners and Ashes. I'll be sharing that with all of you once it's up. The cover is gorgeous. The idea is really cool. It's very different. Larceline says, P.S. Love the spoilers, but when written, even better than expected. Also can see Jace letting Jack on board for a ride. Oh, God, yes. I have this idea in my head of a chapter with Jace and Jack in the Storm Spike, and Jace teaching his father how to fly, which it will be awesome because it's something that I think that Jack always wanted to share with Jace, and they couldn't because of Jace's disabilities. So it's really, how shall I say? It's really like sort of like a father-son bonding moment, that now they get to be sort of like these, crazy pilots together a little bit. Sophie says the Dragon's Reign image is my fave. It's gorgeous. I love to see it every time I go to the site. Yes. And really, Sylvia designed the whole site's color schemes with that image in mind. Crystal says mine too. I love dragon shifters. That was I mean there've been many stories like Everdark was the first one where I really did a lot of pre-planning and that helped me significantly. Dragon's Reign, I really thought about that. A lot about how things would be and that sort of fascinates me. As you guys know, I like to think of our world as it is now and what would happen if vampires were real or if, dragon shifters were revealed as being real. Like what would happen? Pam says, me too. It makes me happy to see that image. That's awesome. That's what I want people to feel because I felt it really captured, the what we want, what Raythe Rain is. Like, I guess there's some sort of actiony feel about it, but it's also romantic and passionate. And the red is just the crimson is beautiful. Hannah says, so if you intend to make a cockroach alien, then I am going to hold my fear and make them a cockroach superhero. They are hard to kill. I love it. I think that would be hysterical. I mean, that really would be. I mean, you guys get to let your minds, your imaginations flow. Whatever you think would be cool, you will be able to put it down. Which reminds me, I actually should probably set that up next week or so, a couple weeks, and then we can start doing that because it's going to take a while for everyone to respond. It's going to take me a while to go through all of them, and then there's still quite a bit to happen on Earth. So at least for the next 2 months or so. So I guess we have more time. But I want to have in my head some characters set up to be crewmates. So an alien cockroach crewmate is so... Lo says, please, no more bugs. No more bugs. I understand. It's pretty gross. Ooh. And I just got an email and I'm so happy. I just got an email back from Kieran Flitton. Kieran did the last Vampires Club audio, and he is going to do this the next one. I was a little bit late, as we know. District 9. Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one. I should really see that. I know that that's a good sci-fi thing. So if you think I hate bugs, but they definitely work as super scary monsters. Yes, they do. And actually, the cool are really very bug-like. Well, they're both alien, from the Aliens movie and the Geiger-like. Crystal says bugs are gross. That's why they make great alien villains. You just really want to kill them. I know you don't feel guilty, even though of course they're probably intelligent and everything. But it's like you're gross. You're disgusting. So yeah. So I get that. Marina says, dearest Kieran. I hadn't heard from him because you guys know, some of you know about my odyssey with honestly narrators, especially the last one. And just Kieran is just so much better. He's so much better than everyone. And I hadn't heard from him and I was paranoid. It's been like one day, but I'm like terrified that he would be like, oh, I can't do it. Or would just flake out. And I just was like, ugh. All right. Laura says, more centipedes. That's right. That's what the sea ticks are. Sophie says, I just want to flee them. She says, no more centipedes. No, remember, they already, the sea ticks are centipedes. Marina says, too many legs. That's right, guys. They're all coming for you. Just imagine one of those things coming after you. I think the thing that horrified me the most, because I'm not a real kid person, and the thought of like pregnancies and stuff I think of aliens. Like I do. I think of the Alien movie, which is horrific. All right. So I think of that. And this is sort of a variation on that. Sophie says 4 legs should be the maximum on any creature. Remember, the sea ticks have hundreds. Lurleen says, not into bugs. Maybe an alien who is somewhat translucent or one who is opaque that shifts and looks. Again, you guys are able to create anything. We can even have like vampire bunnies. Crystal said, yeah, if the aliens look like fluffy bunnies or lambs, they're harder to kill. Too cute. That's so damn true. Like, oh, I just want to pet it. Oh my God, it's eating my arm. Hannah says, so no crab aliens? Oh, I think those are too close to the cool. But yeah, we're going to be able to like, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with because honestly, it's great. Like you have the best ideas. Like, most of the dragons are all your creations, and I've really taken them for my own. So if there's anything bad about them, it's basically my fault. So I can't wait. Pam says a Centauri like pilot would be funny. The big but would always be in the way. A big butt. The big butt. Yes, yes, that would be difficult because the precursors ships are not designed for centaurs. Oh my god, that's awesome. But yeah, we'll have that going up soon. So just a few final reminders. Members, remember that you can get your free copy of the Vampires Club Book 7 by going to the Get My Free Download. Look for the email, but also there's actually just on the menu. If you go in there, you can easily find it. So get that. Jeremy will help you if you have any problems sideloading. It's not difficult. Pretty much when you tap on it, it normally goes directly to the app. So remember to do that. We will have it up until the 20th or the 19th, very much into the 20th. And then the 20th, it will be up on Amazon's KU program. So we take it down. Marina says, so does that mean we are semi-limited to bipeds because of the ship styles? Well, think about what I made. No, you are not. Think about what I don't want to do the spoiler now about Gehenna, but remember what Gehenna looks like. Matt says, does Khoth have a sense of humor? Get it. It's fabulous. I must read. Oh, thank you so much. He will develop one. I think of him a little bit as between he's basically Spock with a cross with Data a little bit. So he sort of like will want to learn at some point, and he will do it. And he'll wry sense of humor, a very dry sense of humor. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for telling people it's fabulous. So yeah, definitely get your copies. We are also going to have, for those of you who have not started the Vampires Club, the box set, which is books 1 through 3, is going to be free on May 19th to the 24th. So people can get into it to get the rest of it. If you haven't already, you can get your box set. It's also in KU for those of you who've had the Kindle Unlimited program, so that you don't have to, you can just borrow it. We really appreciate that. But anyway, you guys have supported me. It's been awesome. So I'm very, very honored. We are also, I guess, there's a lot of things that's going to be happening coming up, but those are the things that are happening right now. So the free book, Vampires Club 7, we'll be telling you. We're going to try to, Kat is actually put together a template, but I'm going to have her put that together every month so that there will be like a blog post generally saying, this is everything that's going on in the month. Here's what you should expect. Here's going to be the free book. Here's going to be the free, this, that, or the other thing. Here's when an audiobook's going to come out. So, let's see here. And Hannah says, no, but Star Trek has lots of jobs. So not a pilot, but maybe a scientist or a security captain. Yeah, we're going to need a lot of those. Lurleen says, not really, but there are other positions besides pilots, aren't there? Of course there are. So we need all sorts. Marina says, oh, I will enjoy making the engineer. Absolutely. Claude says, and that's great because I had them, but my computer crashed. Oh, that's the worst. That is the worst. Like I said, for those of you who are current members and you were members at the time when a book came out, you may be able to get a copy of it from us. As I've said, I don't want to make that like everybody doing it. Please don't everybody do it. And you have to be a current member, just because it's a lot of work to get the files and do all this stuff, and it's a pain. So we really try not to do that. But we also want you to not have to buy something again. But I gotcha. Lurleen says, perhaps a good navigator. Yeah, we have navigators and everything. So that's going to be fun. Because they're going to, I'm not sure if they're going to use the Osiris, or it's actually probably going to be a smaller ship than that. But they are going to get, I think. Shaylin says, I want my med spider. Oh my God, a med spider would be awesome. Like I said, I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. It's going to be spectacular. We will be doing chapters 9 and 10 next Saturday again. So I'll be reading those out loud. So I hope you will join me then. This has been honestly a great time. It makes me feel less isolated, and I love hearing from you guys. Pam's like, now I want that too. Who doesn't want a med spider? I mean, seriously, you must have a med spider. Um, but yeah, so Marina says, you take the med spider. I'm making a prehensile tailed engineer. I love it. Carolyn says, I have a number of ideas for creatures. Absolutely. We're going to have that. Like I said, that, uh, I can't speak, that blog post up so everybody can put in their comments what they want. Oh, what their creature is, and you can say about their backstory and their name a little bit, and like, you know, but really what I'm interested in is making sure that they are as alien as possible. Crystal says, can't wait. I can't wait either. All right, my friends, I'm going to end the stream now. Again, we'll be doing it next week again. Sophie says, I don't want a med spider. I don't want anything a spider. Hannah says, ooh, healing cocoon. Claude says, 8 injections at the same time. Melissa says, thanks. Lurleen says, thank you. Thank you, guys. Maria's like, sorry, Sophie. Yeah, we're having a med spider, I think. What about a med monkey who are natural surgeons? Why not? I mean, put your ideas down. All right, so I'm going to take off, but thank you guys again, and I really so appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed today, and I can't wait to see you on the site or next week at this next live reading. You all take care. Thanks a bunch. Bye, guys.